I'm just as guilty as the next guy of thinking that a new journal, a new workout class, or a new morning routine will fix me. I mean, it's actually kind of wild how our brains are always searching for more whenever we feel like something is off. We think that the answer is another strategy, another routine, another thing to track. Psychologists actually call this the addition bias, meaning that our tendency is actually to try to solve a problem by adding things rather than taking something away. And it totally makes sense. We are conditioned to believe that progress means accumulation, that the harder we work, the more we do, the better off we'll be. That if we're feeling overwhelmed, the fix must be somewhere out there. But more isn't always better. Sometimes more is just more. More noise, more steps, more friction, and sometimes subtraction is the subtle, powerful fix that you're actually looking for. So today I'm going to share 7 things that I gave up to simplify my life. Hi, my name is Anna. Welcome to Ambitious Softie, where I will show you how to trade exhaustion and survival mode for ease and pleasure. If that sounds like something you could use, make sure to subscribe and let's get into today's video. Number 1, I gave up stressful media. I did not watch this season of The White Lotus, and to be honest, I'm actually really glad that I didn't. I caught the final episode with a few of my girlfriends, and I was so stressed out for days. I couldn't sleep well for about a week afterward, and I actually thought to myself, have I healed so much that I can't even watch shows like The White Lotus anymore? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, I've never seen The Handmaid's Tale or Game of Thrones or The Last of Us, and I also don't feel like I missed out on anything. I've never listened to a murder podcast, and I actually recently stopped listening to the ones about scams and white collar crime. Basically, I am no longer interested in consuming anything that's going to stress me out, even if they are critically acclaimed and everybody's telling me that I need to watch them. Severance, I'm looking at you. I don't care. I have survived a lot of dark things in my life, and I prefer to keep it light when it comes to my media choices. Number 2, following the news. In economics, there is a theory called rational inattention that suggests that our capacity to process information means that we have to rationally choose which information is a productive use of our energy. Acquiring and processing information has an energetic and emotional cost, especially in this economy. So I've decided to be much more careful about how I'm using that energy. Everything you need to know that's happening in the world will find its way to you, I promise. There will still be plenty of people in your life who are addicted to the cortisol dump of the news cycle, but if you feel like it's actually making your days harder to get through, you might want to think about muting as much of it as you possibly can. If we want the world to be a better place, I firmly believe this. The best way to do that is by organizing in your community, and you cannot do that if you are stressed out and anxious from watching the news. We need to get off our phones and be around people and remember what it's like to be human. It's beautiful, it's tender, and sometimes it's annoying, but that's okay. Number 3, social media on the weekends. 2 years ago, I started doing social media free weekends as a part of my tech rest practice. And for me, this primarily means Instagram and TikTok are off of my phone. This is connected to the rational inattention theory because I spend so much of my time on social media for work that I needed clear and regular boundaries to help keep my head screwed on straight. And it works. This practice has completely changed my life as a digital creator. We are a generation of discontent, disconnected, and dysregulated people who can't get off our phones. And it truly breaks my heart because there is no cut and dry answer about how to curb this addiction. There's no cold turkey solution. It just takes better habits and an extraordinary amount of grace for yourself. Deleting Instagram and TikTok off of my phone every Friday night and then downloading them every Monday for work has brought such a peace of mind that I can't even explain. Also, Threads and Substack are never on my phone. I can very well use those directly from my laptop. And as a result, these social social media free weekends have made my weekends richer, fuller, much more productive and connected than they've been in years. Number 4 is gossiping and complaining. And this is going to piss a lot of you off, and I don't care, because minding my own business has given me a peace of mind that is hard to describe. There's a lot of discourse about how gossip is a good thing, which I find to be completely hilarious and misguided. Because when gossip is a good thing, it's because we are sharing information that's valuable to propagate the species. But gossip as we do it in the modern age is rarely that. It's usually just a rehashing and doubling down on our own insecurities. It's our own shit that we project onto other people. I find it really silly and unproductive, if I'm honest. Complaining is the same to me. I actually gave up complaining about men and money last year, and it made me sit up straight and start taking responsibility for my actions and my inactions. If you want to hear more about that, I would be happy to make another video on that topic specifically. Number 5, I gave up worrying about how many followers and subscribers I have. I needed to relax around this one because the number of followers and subscribers that you have truly does not matter. In fact, obsessing over it only makes it worse and it makes it harder to grow, which is what I wanted more than anything. It's like that old saying that watching a kettle doesn't make it boil any faster. My job as a creator is to wrap language around my experiences and lend those words out to anybody else who might need them. My job is not to get lost in the analytics of the platform. Likes, follows, and subscribers can quickly spiral into a subconscious pissing contest with your self-worth. And let me remind you that that is an insatiable monster. It will never be enough. Number 5, I stopped listening to podcasts or music when I go for walks. Last summer, I started walking my 79-year-old neighbor's wolf dog named Laika. Now, Laika is a beautiful beast who requires my full attention and presence, and I love her for that. When I first started walking her, I would listen to a 60-minute podcast, which slowly shifted to like a 15-minute meditation while I would be walking, which then led to me not listening to anything at all. I kind of had to titrate myself off of the audio. And when I first started going on these walks with nothing in my ears, I actually began to build a relationship with that dog. I started meeting all of the neighbors. I started noticing the trees and the flowers and how gently the late summer evening would unfold in front of me on these daily walks. But if I was distracted by what was playing in my ears, I wouldn't be paying attention to any of that stuff. I now preach the gospel of headphone-free walks to everyone I know because I cannot emphasize how much this has helped my creative practice, my ability to solve work problems that I can't solve while sitting at my desk, and also to start dreaming much bigger and brighter for my future self. The number 6 thing I gave up is astrology and manifestation content. And I'm actually a little sad that this is on this list because there was a point in my life when these two things gave me a lot of joy and a lot of purpose. But eventually they both kind of became this weird outlet for my control issues and trying to explain everything that was happening in my life. And I still think that astrology is fun and silly in the way that I think crystals are pretty rocks that might make me feel something. And I do think that manifestation is real, but when you try to systematize it and turn it into a formula that you can execute on predictably, it becomes a problem that keeps you stuck in destination happiness, which is this promise of a perfect one day that will never come. Since I gave up so much focus on these two things, life has actually started to feel so much better and so much easier and honestly, weirdly, a lot more magnetic since I stopped obsessing over the process and just learned to trust it. The number 7 thing I gave up to simplify my life is worrying so much about my boundaries and rules. And when you first start doing inner work, it is so easy to wrap your arms and your legs around that pendulum as it swings from having absolutely no boundaries over here all the way over to having way too many boundaries. And at first, putting up a lot of boundaries made me feel safer until it made me feel lonely. I like to know what the rules are and follow follow them strictly. But this is also the same behavior that led me to self-isolate and nurture an eating disorder for many years. Establishing heavy boundaries in my life made a lot of sense at first because I was practically Swiss cheese level porous when it came to mine. But now I actually think one of my great missions and purposes in this life is to fucking relax around relationships, around food, around family, my body, and my general expectations of how I want things to go in my life. So I'm curious, is there anything that you've given up that's made your life feel simpler or better? Or if there's anything from this list that you also would like to try, drop a comment below, and I'll see you on the next one.